Hi everyone, it is Mickey here from A Pretty Talent, where we use our God-given talents to make the world a pretty place. Now, I want to do a series of videos on how to use book pages and different book pages in junk journaling and journaling altogether. And before I do that, I want to kind of just walk you through the ideas of what to look for in a book when you go to your second-hand bookstore, your thrift store, your charity store to look for books that you can use like this. Now, I'm going to start with this one, which if you've been following my channel, you will know that we're busy with an art journaling course, and so we have not deconstructed this kind of book as much as we have altered the book. So you get altered journaling, altered book journaling, and then the complete deconstruction of a book. Now, we do tear out pages. There you will see there's a note that says tear out the pages. Now, when I tear out those pages, I use them to make collages. So let me show you this. So this is a book page collage, and so these are the pages from those books, and then I take some more yellowed pages and I just collage them. And once I'm done, I will cut it up and turn this into something like a tag or a tab or a book plate or whatever it is, but these then become useful for me. So even pages that are torn out from an altered book are still useful, and I still use them. Right. Then, next up, this is, you will be able to find something similar from time to time. But this is actually a journal book which was created to make your own. It's got a very cutesy bear theme. Now, honestly, I don't know, you've got to have a different kind of attitude in life to bears than I do. I'm not quite this cutesy. I do love this book, and what I intend to do is to take it apart and use it sparingly throughout different journals. Unless I come across someone who actually is like this, they love this, in which case I'm happy to pass a book like this on to them. But my intent with a book like this is to take it apart. It has lovely features. These I will cut apart for belly bands. This page, oh my goodness, that is so cute. Now these yellowed pages, they will make lovely pages all together in a journal. Lovely journaling space. So most of these pages, because they are left largely empty, can just simply be used as journaling pages. This is not a book that requires a lot of skill to use in journaling. Okay, moving on. The Wind in the Willows. Who of us do not love this book? Now, I have not started taking this one apart, but there are some brilliant, brilliant illustrations in here. These seem to be largely centered around the top or the bottom half of a page, which is not always the case with children's books. So what I would then do is to use this as pockets. This one I might very well tear out, fold in two, and turn into a little journal that goes into a larger journal. So if a picture lends itself to halving like that, that's an easy thing to do. I will actually show you examples of that a little bit later on. Okay, so this one is something that I would look for as well, because the illustrations are fantastic. But I'm going to talk about children's books in more detail. I came upon this book, The Symphony. This is a humongous book. Now, I would love to do a journal of this size. So I think once I've deconstructed this book, that is exactly what I would do. The cover's got a bit of damage to it. It looks a bit tatty, but that works pretty beautifully in junk journaling. So why did I select this book? I paid quite a bit of money for this one, 60 Rand. Well, it's not expensive for a book. But it has these marvelous illustrations. And this one, if I cut it out, fold it, it becomes a beautiful page in a journal. It has fantastic black and white images, drawn images as well as photos. There's a photo. Look at this one. Absolutely brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. And I have not started deconstructing this one yet because I have too many things going on. This harp, okay, it's a little large for most journals, right? But if I do make a larger journal, and I do make large journals from time to time, then this can sit on the side as a tuck spot on the side of the journal. Look at all of these instruments that just absolutely lend themselves to becoming belly bands or side pockets or whatever it is. It also has lovely pages or illustrations like this, which can easily be turned into a tag. It has maps. So this book is just an absolute treasure trove of things that can be used. The photos that are so popular these days. Oh my word. They are absolutely, oh goodness, this is lovely. Just absolutely brilliant ideas. This would make a lovely collage page. For using. Look at this. This in itself is fantastic. Here's another one. I'm not sure that you can see this one. Isn't it lovely? This is beautiful. That's beautiful. And so absolutely brilliant book for journaling. I'm going to have to take that one apart and show you what I do with it. Okay. I came upon this one, the Bible Courant. The Bible newspaper. And it's literally the stories of the Bible that is published as if it was events of the day published in a newspaper. And so I absolutely love this. I do Bible journaling. And so I would love to use this, but I have not been able to get myself to take this one apart just yet. So, yeah. But this one is brilliant. For all the obvious reasons. Now, here's a lovely book. This one is about mushrooms. And mushrooms are extremely popular. So those images I would probably cut out and work with a little bit. They are photos. But what I loved about this book are really the watercolor illustrations, which are marvelous, absolutely marvelous. So you can either buy printables and print them out, or you can find a book like this, if you're lucky, and then you can cut out your mushrooms from a book like this. So that one for the illustrations itself. This is another one that I intend to use the illustrations, cut it up for the illustrations, use the illustrations as I would use die cuts and stickers and things like that. Brilliant, brilliant book. What I love about this one is that the pictures are on one side, or the illustrations on one side, and the text on the other. So I don't have to make a choice as I would with most books. For instance, this one. If I wanted to use this side of the page, I would have to make a choice. Something's going to get sacrificed. With this book, no sacrifice is necessary because of the way it is printed. And these are fantastic, absolutely brilliant, brilliant illustrations. So, love this idea. Here's another one. Thornburn's Birds. It's very much in the same vein as the insects that I just showed you, with the birds on one page and the text on the other page, again making it brilliantly usable, and one that I intend to use for the illustrations, not for the text. Another bird book. I've bought these on the same day, so go figure. Just again, the watercolor illustrations. When I come across watercolor illustrations, this is not my bookmark, it was in here. I tend to buy those because they look absolutely stunning in a journal. And these illustrations are marvelous. Absolutely marvelous. So I will at some point take this apart. And I say at some point because I'm actually a little bit ahead in terms of my animal illustrations. Not in any dire need to take another book on animal illustrations apart. This was an absolute find. It's a German atlas, but a very old one. 1954. It's the 6th edition. My German is just good enough to be able to make that out. Let me say something about this. Before you take a book apart, you do want to check whether you don't possibly have a 1st edition. 1st editions are rare. You need to not take those apart. If they can be saved at all, save those. But other editions, not so much so. This is why I am in love with this book. The binding is so completely different from most books. You don't see this in other books. But the maps are fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. Old maps. They don't look like this in the modern map books and atlases. So this is an absolute treasure, which I am going to take apart and use. The art collection. I tend to love finding art books and taking them apart. It's a passion of mine. This is a library that gave up its library book, so this little pocket I will retrieve and I will use it somewhere else. I don't know why they stuck this down upside down, but in any case, this whole thing seemed to have been put together upside down. Oh goodness, there was someone who did not. Am I South African? This is curious. That's the cover page, but that's the back of the book. So, it was not the librarian, it was the bookbinder. There's a curiosity for you. Okay. Anyways, what is it that I want about this? This is the South African Reserve Bank art collection. And I come upon these quite often, where the art collections of certain companies or institutions are published, and they're normally published in really strong paper. Shiny paper, which we don't necessarily like, but brilliant is a Pierneef. Oh, this is false ink. Wow, it's very similar to Pierneef. Absolutely brilliant illustrations and photographs of brilliant artworks. Yes, Pierneef. Yes. That's Pierneef. Okay. This is lovely. Lovely. Oh, this is gorgeous as well. I'm going to show you one that I've taken apart, a book similar to this that I've taken apart, and walk you through what to do with that. Okay, so I came upon this one. A friend and I were shopping and we came upon this one. Neither of us are into these kinds of coloring pictures. They tire me out. But they make brilliant journaling pages. So I will take this book apart. Actually, we've shared the book. That's why I only have the front half of the book. We'll take these pages off. Let me show you. And fold it up, and this will become a journaling page in itself. If it's a larger journal, I'll probably hinge it in, but this is going to become a journaling page. Most of them. I can also fold them up, turn them into envelopes and pockets and all sorts of things, but that's very useful. So I do like coloring books as well. Right. Portrait of a Country Artist. Here's a brilliant example of what I was going to show you. This one is taken apart, but I haven't started doing anything with it yet. Now again, well, you've got all these pages that you don't do too much with, but you have these pictures which I will use as illustrations in this. Oh my goodness. This is beautiful. This I will probably turn into a pocket or a belly band or something so that you can see the full scope of that. This can be turned into a pocket. This can be turned into a pocket or a journaling card or whatever it is. The illustrations are fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. And you have the black and white, or the sketches, the etching, as well as the color. This is oil. It says here, oil on unprimed cloth. So the variety in this one is brilliant. Look at those. This is a treasure to have found. Can't wait to start using that one. Okay, here's another one that I've taken apart. The Italian painters of the Renaissance. Well, let me show you. When I found this book, it was like this. And when I took the cover off, I discovered this. This in itself is absolutely fantastic. This cover will work as is. I will probably just put a bookplate or something on it. Although even that is not going to bug me if I see that. So that's brilliant. I have the white pages. These I retrieve and I use them as journaling pages. When I say white, I mean blank pages. And then this book had these. Now in the olden days, before they could print color, they would stick color photographs pretty much into the book. So there's a thin line of glue that held this to a page. And all of these I simply took off. They are good quality paper, but not quite sturdy enough. So I'll probably mount them on something stronger and then insert them as journaling cards in a journal. That's in all probability what I would do. So you would have your writing space in the back and these fantastic images on the front. Okay, brilliant, brilliant, brilliant stuff. Then you have your writing pages. And these I will use as normal written pages. I will either collage with them or whatever it is. Lovely variation here with the index as well. These pages are rather gold. And then the second half of the book consisted of these pages, which are brilliant in itself. And again, these are going to be journaling cards, they are going to be tags, they are going to be bookmarks, belly bands, side pockets. Look at these, don't they look like tags already? Absolutely brilliant. The sad thing is that once again, one's gonna have to sacrifice something because they are printed on both sides. And this just went on forever. Just brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Now, the book, because of these images in the front, let me just get back to these. Because it had these images, they were stuck down on these pages. Here you can see. But these pages are cardboard. They're pretty much almost cardboard, cardstock. Way thicker than paper, just normal paper. Not quite thick cardstock, but your entry-level cardstock. And pretty much empty journaling space. So this in itself becomes a journaling page as is. It's already lovely yellowed paper. This book had so many aspects to it that was absolutely brilliant, that the whole book becomes fantastic. Right, my next set of books I'll pull in and then I'll continue with this. Okay, so to continue, here's a more modern atlas. And immediately you will see that the maps do not look the way that older atlas looked. You've got the shiny paper, it's a good strong paper, but it's not the same thing. Now, I am going to show you how to use both these pages and these pages. And all sorts of other pages as well that one has. But let me quickly undo this. And just try to get to the atlas. So I have all of these books. Maybe I should just look at the books first and then I'll show you this, because otherwise I'm going to waste your time. Okay, I'm going to show you how I use those in a sec. This is an old children's Bible, and I would feel terrible about this, about taking this apart, except that I use my journals for journaling my Bible studies. Maybe I should show you that as well. I'm going to grab a journal that's lying here. And here you can see, those are my Bible studies that I'm journaling in this journal. And that's why I'm always looking for spaces to write, because I do journal in these journals. I don't just make them and that's it. And again, journaling. When I've got a darker page, I tend to use my white pens to journal with. Okay, but you get the idea. This is what I'm telling you. That's journaling space. These are Bible studies that I want to journal store. Okay, so I love these illustrations then, because they work with the text that I am journaling with all too often. And therefore, to me, this is something that then illustrates my Bible journaling rather than sitting on a shelf somewhere. These are rather unique illustrations. I love these illustrations. In any case, so that's what I do with that. Here's a German children's Bible. Meine allererste Bibel, my very first Bible. And here you can see the illustrations are completely different. They're all over the place. And marvelous, marvelous, marvelous. Look at these. I am so going to enjoy using all of these. But again, the same thing. This is going to illustrate my own Bible journaling. I'm going to get lost in the pictures. Here's a book that's interesting. This one and two others I did not pick. This was given to me by someone. But these are not books that I would use or want. And these are not books that I would pick up to journal. These are the ones that would stay on the shelf if it was up to me. But since I had them, I decided I'm going to use them. I'm going to find a way to use them. And I have. And they don't look too shabby. So I'm going to show you that even a book that I would really normally not even look at, I can make that work. I'm going to show you just now when I look at the examples. Here's another one of those that I was gifted, didn't like. Why don't I like this? Oh goodness, for all the reasons. I like this. I don't like this. Photography has come such a long way. These are no longer good photographs. I'm going to show you in a sec when we talk about good photographs. This doesn't even look delicious. It's microwave cooking, for crying out loud. You don't cook in the microwave. Oh my word, I hope I didn't step on someone's toes when I said that, but I'm rather particular about, yeah, anyways. Now, here's a good illustration of what I'm talking about. When I talk about photography, this is what we're looking for. If I am going to use photos, they need to look like this. This book it's supposed to be, what do they call this? These books that lie about in your living room and then people page through them. There's a word for it, it escapes me. This book has brilliant illustrations. And I've been using some of them, taking it apart slightly. Look at this. But I'm literally looking at each illustration. Look at that little mouse. Elephant shrew. Each individual photo and deciding how to use it. I'm going to show you that in a sec as well. Okay. This is a find as well, an old hymnal. It has brilliant pages to use. Here's another road map book. This one has been largely taken apart. It has mostly these rather nuisance pages, but I'll use those to collage with. But I've used most of this already, so there's very little left of that. Oh, have I said, all of these covers can be turned into journals, so that's the intention with that as well. Right, this is another find. I actually found a couple of these books. These are German books. I can't even read this. Gottfried Keller. Gesammelte Werke. So the collected works of Gottfried Keller. I love the German and I love this writing, this font style. And so that's why I picked this, and that's why I use this all the time in my collages and whatever it is. So that's the beauty of that. Oh, and the cover. Oh, these covers, that's why I bought all of them. They're brilliant, brilliantly beautiful. Okay, here's another one of those treasure troves of, oh no, this is not, this is, this is a biology book. And these illustrations make for interesting aspects in a collage, and that's why I bought this. But most of this is really just collage paper. This was on the throw out pile. You take this for free because nobody saw any use for this anymore. I honestly don't either. When I got to the till they rang it up, it was only 10 rand, so I didn't argue. I just paid it. It is a charity shop after all. Okay, this one, I kind of thought I was a little crazy for buying this, but don't know why I bought it. But I am going to make it work for me, and I have been making this work for me. There are some aspects to this that I like, and maybe that's what I thought. That at 10 rand for the book, it's cheap enough for me to not worry about the rest of the pages. But that is not bearing in mind my own personality. I will use up the whole book. I like these, and these I'm just going to cut into quarters and turn them into journaling cards. This one I love. This I like. That's that same bunny. So yeah, so there are some ideas in this one, but a little bit more limited than the other books. And here's the last of those books that I was given that I don't, it's all microwave cooking, good grief. These are horrible, horrible photos. Oh, that fish with its red eye. Oh my word. Seriously? I want to, who's, I know, I'm not going to be nasty, but honestly, artistically. Okay, so what do I do with these? This is just one illustration. I'm not going to show you everything at once because, as I said, I'm going to do a series on this. This is taking that hymnal. Oh no, it's not. This is the FAK book. And folding this into a little envelope, a coin envelope. Now, all of these have been folded into coin envelopes. Here's an idea. I would make the most of this so that when I fold the coin envelope, I have the majority of the picture visible. And that's what I meant by each page would dictate what it wants to become. If I look at this one I would not fold in the middle because then I would lose most of the picture. I would probably rather fold it like this so that the majority of the picture will be visible, and at the back it would look like something like that. But each page would literally illustrate what it wants to become. This is a children's book. I'm going to get to it still. Can you see how I've taken the poem and folded the envelope so that the poem becomes the focal point? I intend to do the same thing with this one. Not all the poems in this book were centered. It just happens to be that these two examples are. None of this has been glued down. Here's one that was not centered. So let the page dictate what you do with it. This is one from that children's Bible. Can you see how this envelope now focuses on the story? And if I put this in a journal, the Good Samaritan, then this becomes the story and it illustrates my journaling. This is Jesus walking on the water, coming to his disciples in the storm. And I intend to fold this pretty much the same way. Right. This is a tiny little book that I have. Literally, this is the size of the book. But even that can be folded into a little envelope like that. This is another children's book. Look at this elephant. How beautifully it worked out. There's a little cat there. And I intend to do the same with this page. You will see that this is a book from John Lennon, a music book by John Lennon. I'm not a John Lennon fan. This is a book I'm going to get to still. The Moviegoer magazine. This is just a normal book page. And here I show you that even a normal book page can be folded as an envelope. I would do this an opening from the side rather from the top. Although if you don't mind the text direction, then you can do it from the top as well. This is an Arabic artist and his illustrations. And I took his book apart. He has very few color paintings. Most of his illustrations are like this. But I would again find the focal point in the illustration and fold the envelope to the focal point. This is a series of magazines that would be put together to form an encyclopedia, and I took the illustrations in this magazine, and that's one page that I made 2 envelopes from. This is that book. This one. Let me just grab it again. Spectacular World of Wildlife. This book that I showed you. These come from that book. Can you see how I allow the picture to dictate where I must fold the envelope? So here again, I'm going to make sure that this becomes the focal point of the envelope so that I don't lose anything. Now I'm going to lose something. I'm going to lose these cutie pies. that is a sacrifice we need to make with books. This is a very old book on diving. And I like the old look of these pages. And so this was this side of the page that I just showed you how to fold that into an envelope. This is a little crab, an underwater crab photograph. This is a black and white photograph of pretty much the same kind of scene. And all of these you can fold into envelopes. This is a book on fashion of the 80s, where I turn these into envelopes. That map book that I've just shown you, these are the index pages, and these are the map pages. And that's how I use those. Those horrible, horrible cookbooks, microwave cookbooks. This is what I do with those. Do I love these? No, I don't. I absolutely don't. But I do intend to do a whole lot of stuff over this. These are just the beginning. Remember, these are not even glued down yet. So I'm going to put tickets on this, and I'm going to put all stamps on this, and I'm going to put all sorts of things on this to make it more acceptable. Same with these. Still the microwave cook. No, that's the diet cookbook or whatever it was. Here's the German children's Bible. And this is a lovely book that I'm going to get to store. This illustrator has these illustrations and just a short text. So in itself, a kind of journal. And when I use these to turn them into envelopes, I really, really work very carefully to make the most of the illustrations. Okay, next pile of books, let me show you. Okay, the next set of books that I'm going to share with you are books that I have pretty much completely deconstructed. So I bought this set of French encyclopedias, children's encyclopedias, and they have absolutely fantastic images. And all illustrations, they're not photos, and it makes them brilliant to use. Also the French text and whatever it is makes for brilliant pages to use. Now I have deconstructed 2 of these already, and these I will use to make new journals with. But what I do is I work mainly with the illustrations, and I will, oh, these are not fantastic, those are mosquitoes, but let's work with the bees. I would cut out the images, and then I would mount it on, let me show you. This is the shopping delivery bags that I pasted onto. And then I just cut it out. And the next step would be to take my corner rounder and to round the corners properly, which I will probably do as I use them. And if you want to, you can then also ink this. And you've got journaling space on the back, and in the front you can do whatever you want to then decorate it even further. If you want to put, this is a little bit big, but if you want to put a sentiment on it or whatever it is, you have those kinds of options for things that you can add and do. And these are just ready to journal with. They come in different sizes and whatever it is, and it costs next to nothing to create a whole set of embellishments just like that. Let me put it aside. In the same vein, I have pages that I just glued together, and I will do a video on this, where I just glued together 3 layers of pages. And this is something I took from Joey DeFee. She did this. And we do these collage pages, and when you're ready, you cut them up, ink them up a little bit, cut your corners, do whatever you want, and you can turn this into a tag. This is not a fully developed tag, it's just an example. But very easy, very cost-effective pages from books that are at the end of the tether, at the end of their life. Let me put that aside. I also have this whole container full of retrieved embellishments. Now you will remember in the previous video I showed you a book on road maps that I had completely deconstructed. All of these little road signs were taken from that book, cut out to be used at another time. And these are words that I have managed to retrieve. So birds, whatever it is, and turned them into tags. I used my corner punches to punch out the tiniest little animals and images and things. Or I cut them into squares, whatever the occasion demanded. Larger images are ready. Well, I mounted it on book pages to make them a little bit more sturdy. But they are ready to be used in all sorts of things on top of journaling pages. And if you go over this with brown ink, then this becomes a whole lot more workable. Here I've turned them into tags. Others I have punched out with my larger circle punches, mounted them on book pages. Some of them I use both sides. So it kind of depends on what the occasion demanded. But so a whole little container of usable embellishments and things that I can use to make things pretty with. Now I also have this book, Fishes of the Transvaal, which I have completely taken apart. I'm thinking of using this in a journal when I turn this into a journal, and so I haven't removed those 2 pages. As well as this book, the South African Wildlife book. Now it still has these pages, which I'm keeping because they've got these lovely tabs, and the blank pages. Those I'm leaving in here so that if I turn this into a journal, I might very well use that in the journal. But as for the rest of this, it's in this little container, sorted in by type. So I've got all the birds that I had fussy cut, and they are ready to go on to become part of the embellishments, onto a tab or a tag or a journal card or whatever it is. I've saved images like this. These are all things that you can retrieve from books. Now the fish book, it had larger images, which I've also fussy cut. And they are rather fantastic. There's another bird that was debuted. So these are rather lovely images. And this book covers everything. Insects, mammals, fish, freshwater, saltwater, what is it? Smaller birds, tortoises, snakes and lizards, frogs and toads, freshwater fishes, marine fishes, spiders and scorpions, beetles, butterflies, mammals, large birds. The whole toot is in here, and now fussy cut and ready to be used in journals. Even a map, which I've managed to retrieve and recover. So very useful books. Kind of running out of space to put things. Here's another book that's being used, and I've shown you how I've taken some of the images from this book to fold envelopes, but it also has these lovely maps that can be used, and there's a whole lot of images and things that make for really fun images to use, sometimes as an image. This I would not use as an image. I would probably rather fold this into an envelope. I'm hoping that everything is still on camera. Just trying to see. So my apologies for this. I think I need to move in just ever so slightly. Okay. So that's a book like this. This is an old diving book. And let me put that aside. So we're busy with books that I have deconstructed already. This is a satirical artist. And I've been using his books rather extensively. Now, some of the images are rather risque. So I've got to be a little bit careful with the use of this book. But some of them are rather funny in itself. And some in color, some black and white. I do like his illustration style. And so I've been making use of that. Here's a children's book. Munchausen. And this one is absolutely lovely. Let me show you some of the things that I have in mind here. And I've put it aside specifically. Here it is, so I can show you. This was taken from this book, from the black and white images. You can see it's in the same style. And this I'm going to simply turn into a bookmark. But I'm going to use another old book, and I'm going to use the blank side of the page so that I've got journaling space on the back and this lovely image on the front, and obviously everything will be glued down and it will be inked and it will be made to look pretty. But that's how images can absolutely just lend itself to become something. This would be a lovely tag. This probably I would turn into a journaling card. These would fold into lovely envelopes or journaling cards, and so on and so forth, and the images itself will tell you what they want to become. Another German book, the Brothers Grimm, the fairy tales, but absolutely brilliantly lovely illustrations in this book. And you can see once again I've used this rather extensively already. But lovely, lovely images. So an image like this, for instance, I would turn into a side pocket. Or a bookmark or whatever it is. There are all sorts of things you can do with this. Then I have shown you how I've turned these into pockets, and I'm going to show you more things, envelopes and things. But this is an old fashion design book from the 1980s, fashion illustration. And it has some absolutely brilliant illustrations in here to work with. I'm looking for specific types of illustrations. Yeah, like these, that I can barely wait to get started on. I've been saving those using the other pages first. Here's the Arabic artist that I've been referring to earlier, his book. This is upside down. And these are the pages that I'm using. You can see basically the whole book has been used already. There are very few pages left in this book. This book is a true find. It is a collection of, here they are, picture goer magazines that has been bound into a single book. And this is 1953, the book from 1953. Now I have 3 more of these. These lovely yellowed pages. And black and white and orange images. It's just absolutely adorable for junk journaling. Very thin pages, so you do need to be aware of that. Be a little bit careful about that. This is a book that has been completely deconstructed. There's nothing left of the book. These actually come from the cover pages of the book, and I've even used this. So these I intend to use as, some of them as pages, some of them I will turn into journaling cards or bookmarks or pockets or whatever they might be. I've literally used every single part of this book. And prepared it to be used as journaling pages and so forth. Then I have Alice in Wonderland, which is always a fantastic theme. Now this book of Alice in Wonderland has these fantastic images. Now there are only a few of them. The rest of the book is pretty much just printed, but it's a lovely print. And the Alice in Wonderland quotes and everything is in here. So this is a book that, well, it has those illustrations. But this is a book that I want to spend a little bit of time on. And I think I'm actually going to make an Alice in Wonderland journal. So that's where my head is on this. So somewhere down the line, I'm going to do that. This book I have made a video of before, so I'm not going to stop here too long. This is the art collection of Sanlam. It's a company that's gone out of business in the meantime. The art collection, I've shown in that video how I turn these into all sorts of things. Journaling cards and tags and pockets and all sorts of things that I do with this. I also made this. Where is it? Here. These are the smaller images which I've turned into stamps. And all of these have been backed onto the writing pages of this book. So another book that's been utilized absolutely to the hilt. This is a book I have not started using, but I have deconstructed it. It has the most fantastic images of flowers. And I've started sorting this. I want to use these that are 2 on a page. Because I thought I'd turn these into tags and things. And then the rest of them on the inside. And don't you just love this? Oh, these are... I forgot I'd had these in here. It's another thing that I want to show you how to do this, but in any case. So it's literally taking those pages and turning this into pockets, full pockets from a page. But I'll get to that in another video. So these are all full page images, and I want to use the full page images. And probably back them with a blank page on this side, and yes, it's sad I will lose something here, but then use this as a journaling page. Either hinge it or fold it in two, depending on the image itself and so forth. But yeah, that's my idea with this. Are they shiny papers? Yes, they are. But I do make some exceptions for using these as well. I know some junk journalists are very serious about not using shiny papers at all. I am less so. I think there's a time and a place for these. This is an art book that a friend and I shared. So I only have half the art book. And these are the images that I've recovered from this artist's book. The written pages have already been used in decoupage and backings and whatever it is. But I'm going to turn these into either pages or journaling cards or whatever it is. I love, absolutely love these images. I would love to have a journal that has a page like this and writing space on the back. And I think that's what I will do. But even a page like this in a journal lends itself to some writing here in the lighter areas. I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell what I do with this one. But isn't it lovely? I love the art books. I think they are brilliant. Abbey Dictionary is one that's very yellow, very brittle paper. You cannot really, well, you can still fold this one, but its life is very short. It's on its way out. So this dictionary I've been using to make collages with, like the ones that I've been showing you. Backing papers onto this, collaging it, using this to strengthen others. It's lovely, lovely paper for journaling, but the book itself is on its way out. Here's another book, not that one, that I had to take apart as a whole. When I bought this book, it had mold on it. And a book that's got mold on it, you cannot save it. So I immediately came home and took the whole book apart so that the parts of the book that did not have mold on it, I could recover. Now you will see that I have cut this so that it can be folded in and become pockets or whatever it is in a journal. I have cut them so that I have the maximum ability to choose what I want to do with what I managed to save. And I did not manage to save everything. But some of this I did manage to save, and some of this I can now put to use. But that's a children's poetry book, rhymes. This is just a little book on forgiveness matters, and you've seen how I've used some of these already in envelopes and things. You would think that a book like this is too small and too shiny, but even this has a place. Again, I like these quirky illustrations. It's the only pages that I've got left of my Reader's Digest reading book. So, and the only reason I've got them left is because they've got illustrations on them. So I'm hoping to use the illustrations. This is a children's book, a German book again. Mario und die Tiere, Mario and the Animals. And again, I've used this extensively already. You can see there's very little of this book left. Beautiful illustrations, a whole completely different style of illustrations. And again, that in itself would be a lovely pocket or whatever. All sorts of things you can do. Now this is a rather interesting one. One that I have still not been able to use. But this was in the discard pile, in the discard bin, so this didn't cost me anything. Now we all know the top model and I don't know, all sorts of things that these little girls are crazy about. And I have cut this up to see if there's anything that I can do with it. It's a bit bright for the normal kind of journal. But I figured, you know what? Somewhere down the line, I might actually make a journal for a little girl. This one actually still had its stencil in it. These are two, by the way. It's not just one. And these pages I will certainly put to use, either in card making or in journal making or whatever it is. But there's a space for this. And then it also has, oh, this is a sticker sheet. Not that there's much left of the sticker sheet. That's another one. Okay, once I get past the sticker sheets, where are the... Oh, I think I've put the blank pages on another place. Okay, so what they had are the blank pages that looked something like this. Now, on one side, a child had done its art, and it's whatever. Okay, but the reverse side of all of these pages are still blank. So, very easy to do something on the side that's already got drawings and things on and use the blank page as a journaling side. So even a discard like that has a place. These two are very similar. They are recipe books, but this one actually had these square recipes, which I thought if I ever make a recipe book journal, then, and I probably will because my niece is training to be a chef, so I'll probably make her a journal like that at some point. But then these come in very handy. Lovely illustrations, a little older. When it comes to music books, I've got a couple here. This is a John Lennon one. This is a more of a children's type thing, so various kinds of pages and things. A lot of this has already been used. This is a very old folk song music book. And so music books and music paper always has a space. this is that lovely, lovely book that I told you about earlier, with this guy who made these, he does these drawings and then just short notes, driven by need. The hunted ones seek the shrinking waterhole arena of life and death. And that would be the reverse to this drawing. I adore this book. Absolutely adore this book. And then I have things like this, which is an old history book. Now, the whole curriculum has changed. So this book is no longer in use. And I'm using this for collaging. So that gives you an idea of how to use books for journaling. And I think I've covered all the books, but there are some other things that I still want to include in this video that are not books, but which you're also going to find at your secondhand stores and your thrift stores and your charity shops and things. And those are cards and albums. So let me talk to you about that when I come back. Okay, I have moved my camera a bit so that I can do this a little bit better, because I was really rotten at this in the previous section of the videos. My apologies for that. I realized there's a couple of things that I still wanted to show you. This is a book that I have also completely deconstructed, but it's also pretty ready to go into journals. Obviously it needs finishing touches, but this book, when I took it apart, it basically gave me 3 sizes. It gave me that size, this size, and this size. And these are brilliant for belly bands, side pockets, side tucks, bookmarks, anything like that you want to turn this into. All I've done was to mount it on a blank backing. So actually 2 layers, so that this is now really strong. So first just a nuisance layer and then a blank backing, so that all of them have journaling space at the back and these lovely images in the front. These are wider, so if this goes into a journal, it'll be a smaller journal, but it will become a side pocket or a tuck spot or whatever it is. And these has the potential to become journaling cards going into larger journals, or even being folded into, well, whatever you need them to be folded into. But all of them have brilliant, brilliant journaling space that's been recovered. Can I tell you what I backed this onto? This is flip pages for when you do presentations. Those large flip pages, and this is the newspaper type, the cheaper type of paper, because I don't mind that this shows through, it gives it a bit of character. But the newspaper also has a yellowish tint to it, so that's lovely for junk journaling specifically. Okay, so that's something you can do as well. Now, I did keep this aside because this is a different kind of thing. Let me keep it like this. This is another fashion book that I've not started to deconstruct yet. So you can see this one is in color. It's the same era, the 80s. You know that immediately from these white shoulders. So this is a book that I'm sort of keeping aside along with these. All of these found in the charity stores. Exotic styles. And it's got the patterns and whatever it is. But also these lovely images that one can use. So I've got quite a few of these books that I bought, because they were going for a song. And then these patterns that I bought. Now I've also got some old patterns, normal patterns that I bought, Patrick's and whatever. But these are have lovely sturdy, strong paper, not the normal flimsy pattern paper, and of course the images on the outside that one could use. Now I don't know why all of this is from the 80s. I pretty much date from the 80s as well, so well, I was born in the 70s, but we're not talking about that. My teen years. So these are things that I sort of keep aside because at some point I would love to do a fashion journal. I have studied fashion design ages ago. Don't do anything with it, but the love is still there. Not for fashion. I don't have much of a love for fashion. So this is something I want to show you. These do not come from the charity stores. This was actually gifted to me. It's a company that printed these playing cards, and we are working on these in another series, so I'm not going to talk too much about those. These I bought at Pep stores for 10 Rand, and the reason I bought them is because they are this lovely. And so these can turn into journaling cards. I haven't turned them into journaling cards yet. I'm just showing you that you see potential all over. This is something that a friend and I, again, there were 4 of these packs. And we bought them and shared them. These are lovely, strong cards to be turned into journaling cards. We didn't buy them for the images, but for the quality of the cards. I'm not going to put it back on camera. Something else that I found was this box. Lord of the Rings theme. And what really appealed to me was these cards. Again, very strong, sturdy cards that one could use to turn into tags and things for a journal. This is a book that could obviously be deconstructed and whatever it is, and then it still had a map as well with this lovely backing. So on this side a shiny map. One's less interested in, let me see if I can unfold it, less interested in this side, more interested in this side. Now I like Lord of the Rings, but that's not why I bought this. Then libraries have become digitized, and so they're giving up these kinds of things. And I got my hands on a whole lot of these. So they are fantastic. Normally printed only on one side and blank on the other side. And then also these tabbed cards as well. Fabulous. Fabulous for journaling. And for jelly plate printing, by the way. Also use it for jelly plate printing. And then I came upon this ugly box. It's a horribly ugly box. But this is a box full, literally filled with cards on gardening. Now, these tagged cards, the larger ones, have become very damaged. I don't think they ever fitted properly in this box. So that was a really bad design on the part of whoever came up with this box. But what I have been doing with these, and you can see that I've used it extensively already, is to kind of sort them like this. They all have images on this side. But on this side, most of them are just written. Some of them, though, have nice hand-drawn images, which I think I may use. If they don't have, if they only have the writing, then what I do is this. I mount them on old book pages. Like that. So there's your shiny side and an old book page. Now, after this, they still need to be mounted on the shiny side onto a blank page, right? So that you've got your journaling side and your decorating side. Now, let me just put that aside. Then the corners will be rounded again and they will be inked and whatever it is. Here's one that I've made as an example. So there's the blank side, taken from old book paper. And then on this side, this is an off-cut scrap piece of a printable. That's one of those fussy cut images that I took off the animal book. This is mounted on an old book. This comes from an old book, and I put all of this together and it's literally put together from rubbish, but it becomes a lovely, lovely journaling card that I can still put a topper on or put a hole through, or I don't know. I can even, this is another idea, bind all of these together and turn them into their own journal. So that's another idea. So that's the idea with cards. Now, last idea is with albums, but let me first make space so I can pull in the albums. Okay, so every time I move piles around behind me, I come upon something else that I forgot to tell you about. This is a set of magazines that is on a pile in the charity shop to be sold at R1 a piece. And when I went to pay for it last time, they actually gave this to me for free. So this has absolutely brilliantly beautiful images inside of it. It has the photos and things as well, but these are the kinds of images that drew me to this. Now, it's been deconstructed to a certain point already. Look at these images. So here's what I've done. As I'm deconstructing this, I'm just sorting them, and I'll probably sort them into something else later on. But for the moment, they're going into this little thing. And if I were to make a journal now, for instance, let's imagine that this is a journaling page. Then this thing will go on the side of the journaling page like that. Or this would go at the bottom of the journaling page and become a pocket at the bottom, and so on and so forth. So this, again, though it's on the R1 pile and honestly, literally being given away for free, gives me fabulous, fabulous images to work with. So be on the lookout for something like that as well. Now, let's talk about albums. Let's start with what is the obvious one. You will know that in this video, on this channel of mine, I am busy compiling an album that is made of an old record player album like this one. Now, I have actually found 3 more of these. The first one that I came upon after the one that I'm working on, my friend was with me and I said she was looking for one. So I said, even though I found it, it's yours. So she took it, she paid for it, and she's going to turn that into her own journal. But then we went back a second time, or another time, because we go there quite often, and I found 2 more of these. And they are rather falling apart, but they're very easy to fix. And once I fix these, I'll actually do it on camera so I can show you how easy it is to fix. And even if you have a book that is falling apart that you don't want to take apart, you can use those same skills to repair your own books as well. I'll show you how to do that. Now, this is a file that I found that makes no sense to buy it. But I don't want this book. I do, however, like the fact that it pages to both sides. So I am going to find a way to pretty this up and turn it into a good looking file. And then some of these pages I will just take out to create space. But others of these pages I am going to turn into what I think is going to be an example journal, an ideas journal, where I keep all the journaling ideas in this journal. I love the fact that some of the pages fold out to become larger, and I will make use of that. So I will probably collage on these pages and then turn this into a journal for ideas. I do not want these images. It doesn't appeal to me. I don't want to recover any of these images. I really only want the structure of this file. They are horrible images. Well, that's nice color. But most of this is like that. I can do something with this. Okay, so maybe some of it, but most of it, no. Okay, so that's the idea with this. Is it going to be tricky to cover this? Yes, because it has all this hardware. Is it impossible? I don't think so. I'm up for the challenge. I'm actually kind of looking forward to the challenge. I don't know when, because I'm out of time for the most part, but whatever, we'll get to it. This is another album. Now, this is how this works. You see these things? When you, in a library, have a collection of magazines, you would, oh, this has been taken apart. Okay, well, you would find the center page of a magazine and slide this in there, and then you bind the whole collection of magazines. I can't see where the hole is. There's going to be a hole on this side and a hole on that side, and you just put this back together like this, and you keep the whole collection of magazines like this. Now that's exactly what's happened here, and then this library gave up its collection, and I found it in the charity shop. Now, old. The paper is old, the photos are old, the images are old, and photography has advanced. We don't consider this beautiful anymore. We have a new standard. But for journaling, this bloke here is brilliant. I'd love to journal that face. And so there's potential for journaling. This is lovely. Not everything is with, oh my goodness, look at that one. I love this face as well. So not everything. But the other thing that's brilliant about this, oh, this is so cute, is that you've got these huge pages. And so again, if you don't use it in journaling, this is going to be a wonderful base for collaging. So anyways, that's the idea with something like that, if you can get your hands on that. Here's another collection in the same vein. A different kind of binding. You can see this time it looks like this. And so what you would do is, because paper bends, you simply lift it out and put it back in. And that's how this binding works. This is the classical collection, music collection. It has brilliant images. That's a lovely image. All of these are lovely images. This, somewhere on my very messy table. Let's see if I can find it quickly. I have recovered. I don't know where it is. It's gone missing on this messy table. Okay, here it is. So I've recovered this because this can go onto a belly band. It can be used to decorate the top of a page or the bottom of a page. Let's say I've got a belly band like this. I put it on top of that. So there are ideas. By the way, speaking of belly bands, this comes from a children's book. And I just separated the two, and they're going to be belly bands. So these magazines, oh, look at that. How lovely. Look at this. Oh, and this is the Four Seasons. This must be Vivaldi. Yeah, Vivaldi. Okay. Anyways, love music. I cannot play an instrument to save my life, but I love music. The last one is this one. I was very fortunate to come upon this. This is an old photo album. It has these gorgeous, kind of like a wax paper protecting what would be the photos. But this album had never had a photo inside of it. These pages are pristine. I'm not even sure that I will take this apart. I might just turn this whole thing into a journal as is, because it is so pristine. But if I were to take this apart, I scored big time in terms of paper. This cost me 10 rand at the charity shop. And let me just show you for comparison's sake. I bought this yesterday at the stationer's for 54 rand. 54 rand, and this is ridiculously cheap paper. And this very thick, expensive paper, 10 rand. And the binding. If I have not convinced you yet that you have to go to a charity shop, I don't know how to do it, because you strike gold every time you go there. So, I hope this has been useful, because junk journaling is not supposed to cost an arm and a leg. You have to be able to do it with junk and turn that junk into absolutely precious pieces that look something like this. It's the only journal I have on the table, so look at this. This is off-cut pieces of fabric. This is recovered from old upholstery. This you can see is just torn from a book. This is actually a toilet roll that's been embossed. And so this is an old music book. This is just a piece of torn off book page. And I can go through the whole thing like this and show you that honestly, if you're spending too much money on your journaling, you're going about it the wrong way. This is a coloring book. Have I inspired you? I hope so. Any case, this is just the first video, the intro video, to inspire you to go and look for books and just trying to show you what kind of books to look for. I am going to use those book pages in the upcoming videos to show you what to do with them. And obviously, as we journal, I'll come across more ideas and share those ideas with you and so forth. There are loads of videos already on YouTube that you can go watch. But yes, if you return here, that's what I intend to do. So until next time, see you then. Happy journaling. Cheers, guys.